You know, there's just something about the T20 World Cup, isn't there? It's way more than just a tournament. It feels like a stage where all the cricketing logic we know just gets flipped on its head. It's where one single over can make a nobody a national hero, and where, time and time again, David beats Goliath.
And well, the 2026 edition over in India and Sri Lanka, it's already delivered a massive reminder of why this format is just the most explosive in the game. We're barely underway, and we've already seen a match that proves its reputation for pure, uncut unpredictability is completely earned.
You know, this quote just nails it. We're not talking about just a few surprising results here and there. We're talking about the moments that become legends. They're the absolute soul of this competition, right? The kinds of stories that fans are going to be telling each other for years and years to come.
So, let's dive right into the upset that has everybody buzzing. The match that proved, yet again, that in T20 cricket, your reputation means absolutely nothing on the day.
Here we go. In Colombo, you had Zimbabwe, a team with everything to prove, squaring off against the might of Australia, who are always one of the favorites. And they didn't just hang in there, they completely outplayed them, winning by a pretty solid 23 runs. And the main man behind this incredible win? Their towering fast bowler, Blessing Muzarabani.
Just look at that number, 4 wickets for only 17 runs. I mean, in any T20 match, those are just unbelievable figures. But to do it in a World Cup, against a batting lineup as stacked as Australia's, that is something else entirely. That's monumental.
And get this wasn't just a personal best for him. It was the single greatest bowling performance by any Zimbabwean, ever, in T20 World Cup history. He just tore through Australia's famous top order, leaving them absolutely shell-shocked at 29 for 4. And maybe the most unbelievable stat of them all, with this win, Zimbabwe now has a perfect 100% win record against Australia in this tournament. I know, it sounds totally made up, but it's true.
But a shocker like this doesn't just happen out of the blue. To really get it, we need to look back a little. This is all part of a powerful trend of upsets that have really defined the last few tournaments.
Okay, let's rewind to 2024 in Dallas. The co-hosts, USA, a country where cricket is still finding its feet, were up against Pakistan, a true cricketing powerhouse, a 2-time world champion. It was their first ever T20 meeting, and the script was supposed to be pretty straightforward. But it ended in a way that literally no one could have seen coming.
After 20 overs each, both teams finished on exactly 159 runs. A dead tie. So what do? How do you possibly find a winner? Well, the answer is one of the most nail-biting, heart-stopping inventions in modern sports. It's called the super over. It's simple, it's brutal, it's a one-over shootout to decide the whole thing. The USA, playing with this amazing, fearless belief, stepped up and smashed 18 runs. Then Pakistan, with all that history and pressure on their shoulders, just crumbled. They could only get 13. A seismic shock, and a cricketing giant was sent home by the new kids on the block.
All right, now let's jump over to the 2022 tournament for another classic David versus Goliath story. Ireland, taking on their old rivals England. Ireland put up a decent 157, but with England chasing, the real drama was actually coming from the sky. The rain came pouring down, and it stopped play, with England at 105 for 5. So, when rain cuts a match short, they use this, let's call it a very complicated math formula called the DLS method to figure out a par score, what the team chasing should have been on at that moment. The calculators came out, and it turned out England were 5 crucial runs behind where they needed to be. The rain never stopped, and just like that, Ireland claimed one of their most famous victories. And the 2022 tournament wasn't done with the shocks yet. Not by a long shot. Next up, Namibia, an associate nation still fighting for its place on the world stage. And they were facing Sri Lanka, the champions from 2014. What happened next was just a masterclass in disciplined team bowling. It was amazing, a truly shared effort. 4 different Namibian bowlers took exactly 2 wickets each, and they just systematically took apart the Sri Lankan batting lineup. 55. That was the margin of victory in the end, 55 runs. So this wasn't some narrow last ball squeaker. This was a dominant, emphatic thrashing of a former world champion, a result that was just almost unthinkable.
But this whole legacy, this tradition of upsets, it had to start somewhere, right? So let's rewind the clock and go back to the moments that wrote the original script for every underdog story we've seen since. Back in 2016, a still-emerging Afghanistan team came up against the T20 superstars of the West Indies. Now, Afghanistan only managed to get a small total of 123, but a really gritty 48 from Najibullah Zadran gave them a chance, something to defend. And boy, did their bowlers hold their nerve, pulling off a tense win by just 6 runs.
And this is what makes T20 cricket so brilliant and so unpredictable. The West Indies, even after getting stunned by Afghanistan in that group game, they actually went on to lift the trophy that year. It's the ultimate proof that in this format, even the eventual champions are never, ever safe from an upset.
But the first true giant killing, the one that you could say started it all, that happened back in 2009. And the stage was Lord's, the home of cricket. The hosts, England, took on the Netherlands. England put up a good score, 163. But inspired by this heroic 49 from Tom the Gruth, the Dutch took the game right down to the wire, winning with a frantic scramble for a run off the very last ball.
That one match at Lord's basically set the template. It sent a message out to every smaller cricketing nation in the world. On your day, in this short, explosive format, absolutely anything is possible. It was the birth of the belief that they could actually compete with and beat the very best.
So what's the thread that ties all these incredible moments together? It's got to be more than just luck, right? There's a real pattern here, a kind of blueprint that these giant killers use to pull off the impossible. It really boils down to 3 key things. First, it starts with detailed preparation and strategy. Then, it's fueled by this unbreakable belief that they belong on that stage. And finally, it's all delivered with the fearlessness to actually execute their plan when the pressure is cranked up to the max. The T20 World Cup proved it was never just for the game's powerhouses. It was built for the brave. And as the sport keeps growing and more nations get stronger, you just know these moments are only going to become more common. Which leaves all of us with one thrilling question: who's next?